Coincidence or the cause? Finally, after years of pushing and pleading by the families of former students at the old Bayshore High School, Manatee County commissioners are agreeing to look into whether contaminated soil underneath the property is responsible for a suspicious number of cancer deaths. But as Kate Flexter tells us, proving the existence of a cancer cluster is a difficult thing to do.
Thanks, Alan. It may be difficult to prove, but the friends and family of these alumni are convinced there's much more to the story.
When Mallory Mannion's father was diagnosed with colon cancer, she was forced to watch the strong man she once knew slowly lose his health.
It's just definitely terrifying to watch your father, who is the strongest person in your life or the hardest worker, to kind of deteriorate into an 85-pound, person who's very ill.
It was a hard-fought battle he ultimately lost after 2 years. But for Mannion, the battle was just getting started. Out of her father and his 7 siblings, all Bayshore High students in the 1970s, 4 of them have battled cancer, and Mannion began to wonder if the school was in some way to blame.
It's can't be coincidental. There has to be a link.
It's a theory shared by many, and for Cheryl Joza, it's become an obsession. In 1999, she lost her 38-year-old sister to a rare form of leukemia, something she thought was just an anomaly, until she heard of 2 of her sister's classmates from Bayshore High who also died from leukemia.
I just knew that it wasn't right. That's not just a mere chance.
That's when she began to dig deeper and noticed a trend. One by one, she heard stories of people who were battling cancer and autoimmune diseases with one thing in common. They attended Bayshore High in the 1970s, 80s, and 90s.
Every time you asked somebody, you heard of somebody else that was sick.
Since she began keeping track, she's counted 91 deaths, 166 that are currently battling cancer or are cancer survivors, 109 autoimmune diseases, and 81 children born to alumni with birth defects.
It's absolutely devastating to watch alumni lose their family members.
For more than a decade, the story has made headlines, speculating that the school's well water or soil was contaminated. And there are several theories. Some believe diesel fuel tanks buried on school property are to blame. Others point to a nearby Superfund site called Riverside Products, known by the Environmental Protection Agency for dumping cancer-causing chemicals just 1 mile north of the school. The old Bayshore High has long since been torn down, but the Manatee County School District provided us with several tests spanning nearly 20 years. Adding, quote, all of the documentation the district has indicates that there have not been any adverse findings in any of the testing done at the site. It's an answer Joza and others aren't satisfied with. That's why they came before the county commission, who agreed to look into the issue further, compiling a full report on testing in the area, something she calls a small victory.
The fact that they acknowledge us and that they're going to call for a report, I'm happy with that. That's a start.
But medical director for the Cancer Center of Sarasota Manatee, Dr. Steve Mammis, says they're going about it the wrong way.
It's completely inadequate to say that because we don't find a particular toxin in the water supply or the soil, that there's not a problem.
Instead of testing the soil for toxins, Dr. Mammis says they must first determine whether or not there's what the Centers for Disease Control calls a cancer cluster. It's a task Mammis says would require reaching out to each and every alum who attended Bayshore High during those times to determine their medical history.
So I think it is premature to say that there's a cancer cluster unless we really define that there really is an excess risk of developing certain types of medical problems.
But those are the answers Mannion says she needs, no matter the outcome.
My dad didn't get to see my brother graduate high school or get to watch his grandson grow up, or he's not going to be able to walk me down the aisle on my wedding day. So I think for those reasons, I'll always want his story out and to fight for justice.
We spoke to Manatee County commissioners when they called for the report. They're declining to comment until they see its results.
Kate, thank you.